In 2003, Chris Moneymaker changed the entire poker world by winning the main event of the World Series of Poker. On that day, he proved that even a complete beginner can win millions. He also became known as the king of poker when he was only a little older than I am today. So, looking for a chance to prove my own skills and steal his crown, this week, my plan was to take him down.
It's Moneymaker Day, and even better, it's at MGM National Harbor. So, it's at my favorite place already, which is a win. We are going to be playing Mystery Bounty, I think, and it started 2 hours ago, so let's get after it. Even though I haven't played a Moneymaker event before, I've definitely met Chris.
The first time I had met Chris was at WSOP Paradise. He had just won $1 million, and as he was walking to his payout, he passes my 2-5 table, to which I invite him to play. He ends up sitting down, and probably because he just won close to $1 million, he's in the mix. He even lets me play a hand completely blind for him. Needless to say, Bahamas was very profitable, so my goal this series is to take even more money from Chris Moneymaker. Hey, he can afford it.
Before I go play, I meet up with some friends to eat some food and complain about camera problems. Because of the fact that I've always vlogged with my phone and I'm a serious creature of habit, new tech is not easy for me. But when I do buy it and it costs this much, I'm f***ing using it. I'm trying to force myself to use this thing because I hate it. No, I still hate it. All right, we're playing the 400 today. It's gonna be a good time. First, we're gonna get some food.
After we eat, we head down to the tournament area, and on our way, we see this massive sign of Chris Moneymaker.
Bro, that pic, he is mean mugging. Yo,
It is a wild.
oh, hold up, get me real quick.
We got the.
I think I
perfect.
nailed it.
That's
honestly.
perfect.
I think I nailed that.
But even though that was caught on camera pretty well, I wasn't the one recording that, Branson was. So naturally, when I actually get up to the poker room and want to be recording things, everything just goes wrong.
I'm here with Abby Poker as she is having major camera issues.
This is supposed to be wide lens. And this is also supposed to be wide lens. What's happening right now? Maybe if I face
The
this
lens
way.
check. It looks the exact same.
I'm being gaslit by this goddamn camera. I swear
Hey,
to
just
God.
buy another one.
Oh, gimbal endpoints reached. I broke the damn thing. What does it even mean?
Broke her
Oh
camera
my God.
before the tournament even starts.
Good.
But for someone as superstitious as me, the good news is that if everything goes wrong beforehand, I'm probably just gonna win the tournament. I hopped into the $400 Mystery Bounty event, and I'll be honest, it was pretty much a max late reg. This means that I hopped into the tournament at one of the last possible seconds. This also means that I have a pretty short stack. After I lose some of it to the blinds, I play my first hand of the day, and it's a spicy one. I'm in the big blind with Queen 9 of Hearts. An action middle position player opens to 3,600. Love you, Mo. And the small blind makes the call. So at this point, I'm getting almost 7-1 here. So I make the call even though I'm really short stacked. The flop is above average. It comes 3-7-9 rainbow. And what's even better is that the small blind then leads out for 5.5K. With top pair and 11,000 in my stack, this seems like as good of a spot as any to be all in. Middle position quickly folds, and the small blind makes the call as I expected him to, but with Queen 10 offsuit. The turn comes another 9, securing our fate and allowing us to more than double our first hand. In this next hand, I have 15 big blinds to start when an aggressive early position player opens to 2 big blinds and I call from in position. The flop comes 8-4-4, which is definitely above average for pocket fives. However, when my opponent checks to me, I do think that this is a mandatory bet, but in game, I check it back and pray to see a clean turn, which actually does come. It's a deuce, and my opponent checks it to me once again. At this point, I can't check anymore. I bet 6,000, and my opponent goes all in. I'll be honest, this line looks pretty weak to me. I just don't think a strong hand is checking twice here, so I make the call.
Okay, call. Oh, you have an 8? I didn't believe you.
We need a 5 in order to win, which doesn't come.
I didn't believe you at all. I was like, no way. Why did you do that?
Obviously, I would have rather been in the tournament, but a quick bust does sometimes lead to really good things. Every time I go to MGM National Harbor, I absolutely love watching the sunset out the window. And each time, I can see in the distance this beautiful Ferris wheel. From the top of the hotel, it looks far away, almost untouchable. But today, I made it my mission to go ride it. I grabbed my friend Alyssa and we said goodbye to Marcel the Lion before walking kind of aimlessly, I'll be honest, in the direction of the Ferris wheel. as we walked, we were passing a beautiful sunset as we made our way to the cute little epicenter of National Harbor. This place was awesome. There's so much history here and even playoff hockey on the big screen. What more could you want? Oh yeah, to ride the Ferris wheel.
Okay, we just had dinner. Now we are gonna attempt to do the impossible. We didn't even know that there was a pathway to this like 24 hours ago, and now we're here and about to ride this Ferris wheel. What is it, $1 bajillion? Woof, as if I didn't just pay $400 to bust a tournament today, like okay. The closer we got, the more excited I became. So I asked Branson to capture it.
If this is what you want, if this is how you want to be portrayed.
Hey, being aesthetic is hard for someone who normally films in a casino. I guess I'll have to rely on other things.
You know your viewers love to see walkaway abs.
I've been looking at this for years, from right over there. And now, I finally get to ride it. Woohoo! 2 vloggers, 1 carousel. Too much crazy. Oh my god. Guys, here we go. Wait, we're going like really high up.
Where's the MGM?
I'm gonna tell you guys I'm a little bit afraid of heights. Oh my god, don't look down. Oh, Branson!
There it is.
The motherland. The funny thing is, we get to the top of this Ferris wheel and I expected to just really be living in the moment. But when we got to the tippy top, I look down and spot a Ben & Jerry's. The second we get off, we make a run for it. Okay, let's go. We get there and it's closed, which means I now have to make the walk back to MGM empty-handed. Absolutely a first world problem, I admit. But the point of me bringing it up is that I'm hangry. But Branson and Alyssa notice this and are relentless.
Wait, guys, are you sure it's not that way?
I look at the
I don't think so.
I don't remember this. Even so though, that was a pretty perfect outing and completely rebooted my mindset for the tournament the next day.
The next day, as I made my way to the poker room, pretty undecided as to what I would play today, I remembered a conversation I had yesterday.
Branson is out here convincing me and my new friend here to play the mixed games.
It's free money.
Free money, bro. Tell me the hand rankings.
You know, you get more than 2 cards. And
Yeah.
You just have more chances to win.
If I say pot,
Yeah. I don't know how it works in live. I just click buttons on the computer. Pod just means whatever's there in it.
yeah, there you go.
You just say what you have to say and let the dealer do the rest.
Okay,
You don't have to bother
wait a
about it.
minute. Genius.
Yeah.
It's only 300 too?
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm in there. About to be the biggest whale in this tournament ever.
I posted something on Twitter about me playing this event for the first time, and the overwhelming positive response and honestly feedback that I got was awesome. So I went to register before I ran into Moneymaker.
No way I spot this guy at the rebuy line. Classic.
Rebuy, this is my first bullet.
Oh, okay, sure, that's what they all
Just because you play a hand better than me without even seeing my cards.
I buy into the tournament and quickly learn that I have made a grave mistake. This wasn't just PLO 8. It's 4 different mixed games, which I did not realize until after I had already taken my seat. Thank God I was seated next to Branson though, because now our only option was to try to have fun at this tournament, if you will. Overall, my experience was really positive.
Yeah, I won my first pot in a mixed game tournament.
But, as you may have guessed, pretty short-lived. So I headed up to the roof to enjoy some tacos in the sunset and get a little content for my friends. Don't say I'm not dedicated. Just kidding. But either way, the next day I woke up and went back to my roots. No limit hold'em.
All right, guys.
All right.
Today, I am playing the
$100 tournament, add 1,000 to it. That's what we're playing today.
$1,100 Moneymaker one-day event. What's your goal for today?
My goal is to not play the 1,100 because I can't afford it yet. But
Bankroll management. Play the 1,100. Remember before when I said I was a creature of habit? Well, pre-poker meals are no different. But as it turns out, I've become a little predictable. I always act like it's gonna be such a difficult decision what I get, even though I know every single time I'm just getting pho.
She literally orders one thing anywhere we go.
Pho before poker, what could be better? Winning a tournament. All fueled up, I head upstairs to finally take my seat in the 1,100. And let me tell you,
The first hand I play really set the tone for the rest of the day. When a middle position player raises and I make the call with Jack King off, small blind makes the call and we actually flop a flush draw and get led into by the small blind for 2,000. Middle position makes the call and we do as well, only to get there on the turn in the form of the 3 of hearts. Multi-way pots and jack high flushes are normally not the best combination, so it checks through. The river comes in offsuit 5, and the small blind checks once again before the middle position bets 3,500, to which I make the call and my opponent just folds.
I knew you were gonna
Mo, you little savage.
At this point, we're on break, and I look over to see Branson suffering a pretty cruel beat. He took it pretty well, don't get me wrong, but I was more focused on trying to keep that energy away from me because $1,100 tournaments normally mean that first place is a lot of money, so I was trying to win that.
I hopped in with this many people, and I'm gonna beat them all.
You beat me. I'm out.
Too soon, brother.
I'm out.
Then, at nearly the last possible second before registration closes, Moneymaker decides to grace us with his presence.
Chris, Moneymaker has a walkout song? Oh no, someone's hitting a jackpot. I'm dumb as hell.
And it's funny too, because my table was like freaking out. So in this next hand, I had to give him something else to freak out about. I open 8-9 suited from early position, and it folds around to the button, who goes all in for 8.5 grand.
Well, I can't really fold, but that was pretty light. I don't think so. Gamble, gamble.
He has ace-3 offsuit, and the board runs out pretty clean for him until the river. Not bad. But don't worry, you may have busted, but your cards are definitely going to become relevant again. Because this time, middle position limps, and I have ace-3 suited in the cutoff. I make it 3K, and it folds back to middle position, who jams
For 13K.
I call, and he has pocket queens. We flop a 3, and he flops a flush draw, but unfortunately, neither one of us improved, so he's gonna find a double with his pocket queens.
That last hand definitely crippled me. So when I'm dealt pocket jacks in the small blind off of 25 big blinds, and an early position player raises, I jam, and he makes the call with ace king. Thank God, the board comes low, and we secure ourselves a full double. And at this point, I'm starting to notice a pattern because a couple hands later, under the gun limps, and I make it 5,500 with king queen offsuit. Folds around to the big blind, who jams 12,000. Why is it always me? This is like the third time that this has happened, where I just have no choice but to call off and actually muy pequeña stack. It's ridiculous, I'm telling you. This time it's a 60-40, but things are off to a pretty rough start as he flops trips. Oh, whoops. It's never good when you're gonna need runner. But even though I've lost almost every single all-in, somehow we've made it down to the final 26. At this exact moment, payouts are announced and we figure out that there's $20,000 up top. But we also find out that only 8 people make the money. Even though we're final 3 tables, it feels like we're a lot closer to the money than we actually are. Now is the point where you're trying to amass as many chips as you possibly can so that you can have a stack close to the bubble. That's why after I get a jam through, when the hijack opens to 5.5K, I jam just about 40K with ace-10 suited. And he snaps me off, which was slightly concerning actually until he shows me pocket 8s. That is a fair fight, and we do manage to flop a 10 and securing another double at an absolutely crucial part of the tournament. After that last hand, I was actually sitting pretty. I mean, I was definitely not chip leader, but I covered a lot of people at my table, which means I could put a lot of pressure on them in some uncomfortable spots. Just like this next hand, when I open up ace-10 offsuit to 6K from early position. Only the button makes the call this time, who I'm going to lovingly refer to as special teams. You'll see why after this hand. The flop comes queen 8-6 rainbow, and I bet 5,000, to which he makes the call. The turn is the king of hearts, which obviously would make a queen very uncomfortable, so I continue betting for 14,000, but he's undeterred and makes the call. The river's the 7 of diamonds, and at this point, even though 9-10 now makes a straight, there aren't too many combos of that left, and I definitely have the range advantage when it comes to all the stronger hands here. So I go for a bluff. I bet 28,000, which aligns with all my value hands, but he makes my decision pretty easy for me by going all in with maybe 9-10, but realistically probably a set. All I know is that it definitely wasn't a queen, which is what I was really targeting there. And in case you're wondering why I'm calling this guy special teams, he's a top-notch punt returner. Donation. Determined to get my revenge, not because I don't like special teams, but more because I need the chips, which Moneymaker, who had recently busted, was quick to remind me. Walk of shame, bye! No, I just tried to give him my whole stack. I call his open in the big blind with pocket threes. Obviously, I'm looking for a 3, but that actually does come as the flop is 10-6-3 rainbow. I check to him and he bets 10,000, to which I just make the call. The turn is at face value an amazing card. It's another 10, which is perfect because if he has a 10, I'm for sure getting a double up. And he's for sure betting, so I check it to him, expecting him to bet, but he checks behind. That sucks because that means he probably doesn't have a 10, and the 8 on the river changes absolutely nothing. So I bet an amount that I think ace high can call, and I don't know if he had ace high, but he did end up making the call. No, he still has more. Then I go on to play a boring hand for a vlog, but it was also a kind of exciting moment for me because basically I defend a mediocre holding from the big blind, flop top pair, and instead of just calling my opponent's c-bet, I actually choose to raise this time and just take it down as is. I know, boring hand, but it's one that actually shows a lot of progress for me, so it was kind of cool to see my work paying off. But then I play a hand that changes everything. I open up ace-queen offsuit with, notably, the ace of hearts. And none other than special teams makes the call in the big blind. The flop comes jack 8-5 with 2 hearts, so when he checks to me, I bet 7,000 and he makes the call. The turn's the queen of hearts, and he checks it to me once again. And at this point, I have a decision. I can either bet now and then evaluate the card on the river, or I can check and evaluate my opponent's action on the river. I like the first option a lot more. So I bet 20,000 this time, to which he thinks it over before making the call. The river comes as big of a brick as you could possibly get, and my opponent reaches for chips. A lot of chips. He leads out now for 42,000. Undeniably, this is a super polar bet, but I have removal to the nut flush, which is one of those super polar hands. The thing I didn't know though is if this opponent was capable of doing this with a stone cold bluff. So I make the call, and he has a flush. It's frustrating, and we're super crippled, but we do have only one more hand before dinner break. Luckily for me though, I look down at a hand I'm willing to go all in with. Hope someone calls. 30 seconds left. Come on, someone give me some action. And it folds around to the big blind, who calls me with king 10 offsuit. I flop 2 pair and then turn a boat, rendering his rivered flush completely useless. Just like my fold equity before this hand. It ended a little bit poorly. I had like a lot of big blinds and then I lost a really big pot. And now I have, I don't even know. Now maybe I have 5 big blinds. Like I don't know. It's like, yeah, like I'm short. Yikes. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Maybe I can spin. We're like so close to the money too. It'd be so annoying if I busted now. Dinner break was on the shorter side, so I gave myself 5 minutes to get back up to my seat before break was gonna end. But as I'm running back, I completely forgot that it's the weekend, so I am fighting the longest lines to get back in this casino you've ever seen. Great for BetMGM, horrible for me. So I'm like begging people to let me pass them in line, and I'm diving to get to my seat so that my cards aren't mucked pre-flop. Magically, as the dealer is pitching the last card, I get there. I completely knock my chips over, but I'm in my seat. But I guess it didn't matter that much because I am dealt some true caca in the blinds. All right, moment of truth. Game time. Then it folds to me in the cutoff and I take a spot. Something really important for me to look at was my opponent's stacks. And right now, both of the people in the blinds were really short. So with only 5 big blinds remaining, I opened up my jamming range a little bit since the only person I'd really have to get through is the button. I rip queen 9 offsuit and the button folds, but the big blind is in the tank. 24,000. He gets a count and makes the call with 10-7 offsuit. Oh shit, kind of me too, low key. All right, this is fair fight. Good luck. That's great, don't get me wrong, but the run out is absolutely atrocious. He flops a 10, eliminating us just 6 people away from the money. Unlucky, on to the next.